So, we will see the three access specifiers that are available in C++. The first is the public access specifier. This allows a class to expose its data members and member functions to other functions and objects. So, in this, when this public access specifier is used, all the details of a class, its data members and member functions are visible to other classes. This is the default access specifier. Default in the sense when you are declaring a class structure, in case you do not mention any specific access specifier, the compiler takes it to be a public type. So, suppose an access specifier is not distinctly displayed or significantly mentioned in that place, the compiler will accept all the data that is declared in the class to be of type public. So, it will be exposed to all the other functions, all the other objects of other classes. This is used when a class contains member functions and variables that need to be used in the entire program. So, mostly we use the public access specifier when all the data of that class needs to be accessed by all the other functions in all the other classes in that particular program. That is, there should not be any hiding. All the characteristics have to be made available to all the functions. Only in such situations we use this public access specifier. Here is an example. You have the class car. So, here the name of the class is car and the body of the class starts from the opening brace. Public is the access specifier. You are having one string called model which can have up to 10 bytes, and then you have the class body ending here. So, there is only one data member called model. You have the main function, the body of the main function. Here you are creating an object for the class. The class name followed by an object name is called the creation method for an object. So, when you have the class name followed by some other name, that indicates the object name. So, in this particular program, C is the object name. This is how an object is created. And we having this input command followed by the extraction operator and C dot model. Now, if you see, model is the data member of the class car. So, public is the access specifier which shows that the entire data that follows that keyword public is made available to all the other functions. Main is another function in this program. So, inside main this particular model is accessible. C dot model. So, outside the class you are accessing that particular string model. How you are able to access it? Because it is of type public. So, though the string belongs to the class car, you are accessing it outside the class in another function called main. This is made possible because it is declared under the keyword public, and the dot operator is the method by which using an object you can access the members of a class. So, here you have to remember three things: creation of the object, class name followed by object name, accessing the members of a class using the dot operator. So, here you have the object name dot the member variable or the data member, and this access of this member variable is possible over here because of the use of this access specifier public. So, next we will see that if we are going to use a private or protected access specifier, what is the difference it makes. Next we move over to the private access specifier. This allows a class to hide its member variables and member functions from other class objects and functions. So, this is just the opposite of the public access specifier. In public, all the internal components of a class are accessible and visible to all other classes and objects. When we use this keyword private, none of the member functions and classes or variables which are defined after this keyword public are visible to other classes and functions. This feature of insulating data or hiding data from other parts of the program is called data hiding. So, data hiding, encapsulation, abstraction, all three are complementary to each other. An object's function is the only way of accessing the data. See, when some data is hidden from all the other classes, how are we going to access the data? Then what is the purpose of declaring such a data if it is going to be hidden from the rest of the program? There has to be some purpose or some method by which we can access the data for some particular application at least. So, the only way to do it is using the object's function. Some public function might have been declared which will allow us to access the data members. So, the significance of this private is that from accidental or external alteration you protect the data. In the case of public, because all the data is visible to everybody, anybody can access it, even unknowingly they may modify the data, whereas in private that possibility does not occur at all. So, now we will see an example program how this private access specifier and public access specifier are just opposing each other in their characteristic behaviors. So, again here we are having a class car with an opening brace. Here we are having the private access specifier. So, this indicates that all the data that follows this keyword private are not visible to other functions. You have the same model string, and here you are having a member function by name sound, and inside that you are simply displaying some message horn, and you are ending the class body here class car. You are ending the function here sound function. The body of the class is not yet ended, only the sound function is ended over here. Then this particular declaration is followed by this keyword public. Inside public you are having void set model. So, set model is a function. Here you are entering the model name, you are entering the, you are getting some input from the user, and you are closing this function. You are having another function void show, and you are displaying the data, the model is model, and you are ending this function also. So, here if you see, you are having one class, in that you are having 3 functions and one data member. The data member is a string called model, and you are having one member function which is of private nature. That is what we saw on the previous slide. The private member, and here you are having 2 public members, one is set model and one is void show. So, inside this private type you are having this member function sound, and inside the public type you are having 2 functions set model and show. Now, inside the main function we are going to see how we are going to access these functions and member variable. These are the 2 public functions. Always in C++ also, the compilation of the program or the execution of the program starts only from the main function. So, the compiler starts reading the program only from here. You have the main function, the opening body of the main function, and here this is the creation of the object, class name followed by the object name. So, here C is the object, and here you are having the dot operator C dot set model, C dot show. If you remember, these 2 are public functions. So, when this particular statement is seen by the main function, it will immediately come to this particular function, and it will ask enter the model name, and it will take in some model. Next you have C dot show, whatever model was input by the user, that will be displayed over here. C out, the model is model. So, these 2 functions there is no problem accessing them, because they both are public in nature. But if you see this C dot sound, this is a private member. So, this private function cannot be accessed by the object directly, because it is declared using the keyword private. So, here there will be an error in the program. The next step, again you have C in C dot model. This is also not permitted in C++, because again the string model is a private member declared in the program. So, this is the difference between the private and public access specifiers. All the data that is declared public can be easily accessed using the dot operator and the object name, but the functions which are declared private and the member variables that are declared private cannot be accessed in the same manner. So, there is a way to access these private members whose significance is more visible when we implement concepts like inheritance. Next we move over to the protected class access specifier. This is similar to private, that is the details of a class can be hidden from other classes and objects, but this allows a class to hide its data members and functions not from all other classes and objects. Say when you have a superclass and a subclass, an inheritance concept is involved, this protected access specifier gives some freedom for access of the data members and member variables. So, this we will be seeing in detail when we study about the inheritance concept.